Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another fragrance review. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And in this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Givenchy, and this one is called Pi Neo. Stay tuned. Now, Pi Neo was released in 2008. The perfumer for this one is Francois Donche, and he is out of Givaudan. And this one, of course, many are familiar with the original Pi, which kind of smells like amaretto. It has almond, it has some sweet nuances, some resins. This is a reinterpreted version of the original, but of course, it's not a flanker of the original. Now, I love Givenchy Pi, and that's a fragrance that I wore all throughout high school. This is actually a standalone fragrance. That's why it's in a different bottle, different smell, different perfumer, pretty much different everything except for the name, so that they can continue to capitalize upon the success of the original. Now, as far as the bottle is concerned, it does look a little bit different from the original Pi, so let's go ahead and take a look at it close up. So as you can tell, this one has a pretty cool shape. It's not completely rectangular, neither is its predecessor. It has this stopper up here, goes up and down. You have Givenchy sort of not punched, but sort of popping out here on the collar. The distribution on the atomizer is a little bit narrow, but it gets the job done. And that was the presentation for Pi Neo by Givenchy. Now, what you're gonna get from the smell is, it opens up with this sort of citrusy freshness, but it's not something overt. It's not too strong in there, and you're not gonna get a whole lot of citrus. And then it very quickly dries down to this sweet nuance, which is attributed to what I think is the note of Tonka Bean. Now, Tonka Bean is a very sort of gourmand note. It has a vanillic overtone, and it's kind of creamy. Now, when you look at the note breakdown, you have like, I think, citrus and cedarwood and perhaps even myrrh, if I'm not mistaken. You don't really get any of that. It's more like a powdery, sweet, sort of vanillic smell. And it is very different from the original because it lacks a lot of those facets and nuances that really characterize the original, made it stand out, and made it what it is. With this one, on the other hand, the closest fragrances that I can compare it to, Burberry Touch, but also Burberry Brit, in the sense that it's powdery, but this one is not as good. As far as it pertains to its counterparts or anything else released under the Givenchy name, I would probably have to say that this fragrance is one of my least favorites. Now, listen, it is a pleasant scent. It smells sweet. It's a little bit fresh. The only thing is that it's pretty mundane. It's run-of-the-mill. It smells like something you picked up from TJ Maxx for a very cheap price, and it doesn't really deliver. So it doesn't pack a punch. You're not going to get the best longevity from it. All in all, my fair assessment is that it's not a fragrance that caters to my personal taste. Although it is a sweet and accommodating smell, I could possibly see it getting a few compliments, but I think most people will brush it off in saying that, okay, this guy's just wearing a cologne. It's not really something that welcomes any sort of sincere inquiry as to what you're wearing. So let's go ahead and finish things off with my rating. First up, I took a look at the uniqueness in the overall smell, and it's not really a unique smell. It's kind of lackluster, it's very one-dimensional, it doesn't have too much depth or personality. Overall smell is really pleasant, but again, it's not something that would invite or welcome people to actually inquire what it is you're wearing, just because it sort of smells very bland, unilateral, one-dimensional. But all in all, it is a pleasant scent, so please don't get me wrong with that. Listen, for somebody who's just starting off their journey, I think you should actually go ahead and check this one out. If you have a little bit of money to spend and you don't want to spend a whole lot, and you want something that's going to smell fresh but sweet at the same time, and you don't mind powdery notes, I would say go ahead. Longevity on this one, you're going to get about 4 to 5 hours. I have gotten upwards of 6 hours, but 4 to 5 is the average. Projection on this one, it is very good for the first hour, and then it does sit very close to the skin, but you will get that powdery nuance for a while after you've applied it initially. Versatility is pretty good, dressed up, dressed down, although I think there are other fragrances that you could find in your collection that would probably make you feel a little bit better, that would serve as more of a confidence booster. So this one, I would say, you know, if you love the smell, then that should be the ultimate deciding factor. That should be the catalyst as to whether or not you should wear it. But I think this one would work really well in the hotter weather. I think men and women can wear it equally. And last up, presentation, I think is pretty decent, but I don't think it's better than the original Pi. If I had to give this fragrance an overall overall score, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. Overall, this scent, it's decent. It just didn't wow me. It doesn't do things all that different. It reminds me of like a Versace Eros wannabe, a Mandarina Duck Pure Black wannabe. It also has nuances of Man Aubusson Intense. All in all, you can smell it's a little bit of a cheaper variety, but it is a pleasant scent. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you own or have tried Pine Neo by Givenchy, I would love to hear what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos, and don't forget to enable notifications. Remember, I smell well so you can smell good. We'll see you next time. Take care.